Hello, my name is Avram, your nature reporter. This is my 2019 report. I'd like to tell you a little bit about myself. I am 8 years old. My school is SIA, Spokane International Academy. While at school, my favorite subject is technology and science. My favorite subjects, I should say. I like looking at my Pokemon cards and sorting them. I like doing puzzles. I just finished up chess club. I joined art club, which I'm going to be starting after spring break next week. And I'm going to tell you some of my interests. I like Pokemon, origami, space, the sea. I love sports too. I do cross country and karate. Welcome to my room. One of the things I like about it is when I go to bed, I feel like I'm sleeping at the bottom of the ocean. Or just ocean. My ceiling is the sky and I have some stars up there to look like speck. Weird mashup, but with all my interests, you can't expect anything to be normal. And over here is some more sea, and up here on this is another volcano right here. My slide, because during the night I can just like, or even while I'm just at home, I can just climb up the ladder over here and then go down the slide. I'd like to tell you about some of my earlier Earthday reports. My first one was in 2014 about nature photos. And I did talking to the animals, where I talked to the frogs in the pond about not polluting the water.
I asked them what do they like and they said fish. Signing off, this is Avram That's White, your nature reporter.
And I did reuse, reduce, and recycle. And I used my robots to push the can into the trash can. And I used some of them to do some talking in there too.
Two important guests we have here is water and electricity. See ya. The things we can recycle are plastic, cans, glass, and paper. Oh no, the can is getting away.
My next Earthday report after that was Leave No Trace camping with George here, Molly here, Owlie here, and Snow Chick here. We talked about not hiking on things that aren't trails, because that will kill the plants. Last year's report was waterfalls when we went around to different cool, interesting waterfalls. And it was kind of hard to hear at some parts because the waterfalls were gushing so hard. And then my daddy and I built a model of the waterfall. And that brings us to this year. Our topic for this year is extinction. The dinosaur and dodo bird no longer walks the ground. Those are two that disappeared. They're nowhere to be found. It's not good to be extinct. It means you don't exist. Let me try to be succinct. I'll only tell you this. Overhunting or pollution, cutting woods for wood, are threatening some special species. It's not so very good. Endangered species are at risk, and soon they'll disappear. Protecting them is pretty cool, and I think that's pretty clear. So let's protect the pristine places living things call home. Preventing any more extinctions lets all species roam. Oh, sorry, I didn't even remember that I was even doing a talk today. Let's start studying about extinction. Extinction happens when the last members of a species die off, caused by either natural events or human interactions with the environment. And now I'm going to talk about some classifications. Vulnerable means likely to become endangered unless something changes or something has to be done to be able to help them get back up to thriving, which means, and thriving means just regular, like not so many that it's crazy, but just regular. An animal that would probably be considered thriving would also kind of be like squirrels. They're just they aren't endangered, but they're not like so many that it's crazy. And endangered means that you really need to do something before they become extinct. Or you need to do something before they become critically endangered. Like it's almost impossible to keep them from going extinct. Scientists and technically all people thought that kangaroo rats were extinct, but then one time they didn't find one for 30 years, and then they finally spotted one, and they were like, wow. And so then they moved it back up to critically endangered, and by protection of wolves went from endangered back up to vulnerable. And the giant pandas went from endangered way up to thriving. Isn't that interesting? The snow leopards went from endangered to vulnerable, which is still pretty good. An interesting thing about that is that this year, 2019, theme is protect our species, which is a lot like endangered animals, which is my Earth Day theme for the year 2019. Hello, I'm back again here out in the woods. And today we're talking about threats and remedies. Some of the human causes of threats is overhunting, and another one is destroying habitats. Pollution. Pollution kind of causes heat, which changes the temperature of the climate. So it's threatening some species like penguins and polar bears. And non-native species like that would be breeding mussels here, and they're non-native to the waters of this area. Now I'm going to talk about some natural causes that can it threatens some species, like flooding can tear down trees and habitats, and also wipe out animals and bring diseases, and fires. And as you can see, the bottom of the trees are kind of like all charcoal black. Now I'm going to talk about some remedies. Conservation is kind of like zoo, how they kind of keep it in an area where nobody can hunt them, or even just having them in their natural habitat but just not hunting them. And another one is researching about them before they die off. It's kind of a remedy so that you can educate people about how to keep them from dying off. We needed to build a highway to get things across from Spokane to Seattle, but they built like a they built kind of like a bridge and then grew some plants on top of it for the animals to walk over the highway without having to wait for traffic and stuff. And finally, I'm going to go a bit back to education, like what I'm doing here with my Earth Day videos. I'm educating people about animals, which will kind of give them an idea of how to keep them from dying off. I'm going to tell you about some of the areas with the highest rates and impacts. The Mediterranean area here has 20% of the species threatened. Europe, over here, has 23% of all the species threatened. Here in the Persian Gulf is the largest marine protected area. Here in the Gulf of Mexico, one whole quarter of all of the animals there are threatened. And Japan over here is one of the areas that has some of the most animals in one spot, which is the biggest diversity of life. I really like my map over here because I can look at some interesting species of animals. And here you can look at the different things of what it says the pictures are. Like, for example, this bunny rabbit thingy means mammals. And then there are regular invertebrates, as a jellyfish. There's birds for a bird, which is pretty obvious. One of the kind of funny things that I noticed on here were scrabs. They're invertebrates that eat poop. And that's kind of funny. In South America, down here, the Pinta Island tortoise died because of overhunting, and the passenger pigeon up here became extinct from overhunting. For Europe, the pied raven became extinct for overhunting. Javan tiger in India died from habitat destruction, along with the Caspian tiger and another which is a Caspian tiger, which used to be in Turkey through China. The white rhinoceros is dying off right now. Only 2 females are left, and they're dying off because of illegal hunting for their tusks. And last but not least, in Australia, the Tasmanian tiger and the Tasmanian wolf died of habitat loss and disease. I feel kind of a bit sad that all these incredible species are either being close to extinct or even recently extinct. And I noticed that more of them are dying off nowadays than they used to be, as there's becoming more houses. UNESCO is a wonderful site that is tracking these different species. We have their red list for ones that are likely going to become extinct. These 5 different animals are all on their red list. So pay attention, people. We just learned from the IUCN Red List about the most important areas to protect on our planet. Today I am bringing it closer to home. I'm here at Cattails to introduce you to Aquila, a recent rescue. Isn't she beautiful? This spring I was able to meet people whose passion is all about protecting wildlife. Chris Montero of Wolf Haven International taught me many important facts about work being done to help preserve wolf packs around us. He showed me how their range has shrunk from being pretty much all over North America to the Pacific Northwest. He said it takes a team to approach. Changing public opinion is a big challenge because for example, in fairy tales, how it has the wolf eat Little Red Riding Hood's grandma. Next I met Tim Boyer, a nature photographer. He was at the Sandhill Crane Festival. He told me how loss of habitat is the biggest threat for birds. About 24 species of shorebirds are now endangered. I visited sites where they are protecting the sandhill cranes as they migrate north. Finally, I talked with folks from the WSU Raptor Club. Their mission is to promote wildlife conservation by showing non-releasable raptors and telling their story. Non-releasable means that birds can't survive in the wild due to injuries or reliance on humans. They even showed me a falcon they got from cattails a few years ago. In conclusion, I learned protecting the natural habitat from Tim Boyer. I learned solutions are best through teamwork from Chris Montero. I learned that the value of research and education from the WS Raptor Club. Some of my sources were the IUCN Red List, established in 1964, the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species. The IUCN Red List is a critical indicator for the health of the world's biodiversity. It provides information about range, population, size, habitat, and ecology, far more than a list of species and their status. Thank you for watching my Earth Day movie.